Now, downslope is particularly good for somebody like me because I'm a front poster, or it's just good for everybody?
And the weak grip.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
More so the grip. But because you're also...
So if you had a rear poster with a strong grip that's throwing sidearms, you got them on an upslope? Gotcha.
Think about just more of the grip.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't have Sahith practice on upslope so much.
Gotcha.
Like, he's right-legged, right?
Yeah.
So here's how you would set up. So normally, flat lie, you have a certain ball position, certain stance, right? You're usually, typically everyone's squarish.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're on any slope, you drop the bottom foot, no, you drop the top foot out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So down slope, the top foot is the right foot.
Yeah.
So you get that, I usually say 2 inches back. Move the ball towards the bottom foot. So you actually move the ball up on a down slope.
Okay.
And then I just try and aim my sternum just right in front of the ball.
Gotcha.
So it's like a crisscross kind of setup.
Crisscross. Explain that real quick.
Feet are technically slightly closed.
Uh-huh.
My sternum's pointing a little bit left this way.
Okay.
And then my ball position's up. So technically, it feels like it might be open with my shoulders
Gotcha.
slightly
Mm-hmm.
with the closed stance.
Yep.
Then when I do this, I swing down the hill and release down the hill this way.
Gotcha.
Down to the left versus not swinging down the hill is
Right.
that way.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want that. You're going to hit way back here.
Gotcha.
Okay, so you just practice swinging down the hill to the left.
Gotcha.
You'll be surprised if you did this on the course, the height of the shot will be just as high as a normal shot.
Mm.
I'm like starting to sweat. I like it. Not used to this.
Get this.
There you go. Perfect. I was going to say maybe we should use that. Yep.
This will just help with keeping the ball here.
Yep.
Maybe.
That's fine. There you go.
As long as my right leg is up above it, that's really the key, right?
Yeah. And then we'll see if that ball position can point that sternum right here. There you go. Nice. And obviously, you don't ever want to try and help it from a down slope. You get exposed immediately, right? You're just trying to swing down the hill this way.
Right.
Just because especially that's where your palm's facing.
Gotcha.
It's got to go that way.
Gotcha.
Nice. I like that. So people typically think ball back on a downslope. Well,
Right.
yeah, you can do that, but how low is that ball going to come out?
That came out with plenty of height.
Yeah. It's something you can practice a lot.
Yeah,
Hitting off this downslope.
I've got it all set up.
Because
for
your
me
body
back here.
obviously will adjust like muscle memory in a way. It'll bleed into your normal swing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's pure, dude.
Yeah. It's really good. Love to see that in slow-mo. Let me get my phone out. How was that?
It's a little bit thin.
Okay. Okay, let the arm go where it wants.
Yeah.
That looked good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's good. It's not stuck at all, right? It's not stuck is our enemy.
It's not anywhere near as stuck as it normally is.
Yeah.
There's still some excessive rotation there down at the bottom to fix some shit, but definitely a lot better than it normally looks.
Yeah, it's gonna get better. Like I said, this downslope forces you to not fake it.
Yeah.
Because you'll get chunk city, you know?
Right. Right. Let's soften it up and start releasing it earlier.
Yes.
There we go.
That's it.
There we go. That's it.
Obviously,
right
it was way higher on the net.
Yeah.
That was nice. Now you'll be licking your chops when you go play on a downslope.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
That's the shot you like.
Right.
It's like if you're on that downslope at 14 at Hacienda. When you
Yeah.
don't make it down the hill all the way.
Well, hopefully I'd be able to get it
Bottom.
all the way down there. Yeah. Those 250 yarders that just skirt onto the downslope. No bueno.
Not bad.
Not quite.
Not quite. Nice.
There we go.
That one was good.
Money.
I just like where your finish gets to on the downslope. You're really this way versus obviously this. It makes it hard to get here.
Mm-hmm. So let's give like a quick overview. So based on measurements of my wingspan, I have just a touch longer wingspan than my height, right? Which indicates that my hands should be a little bit more deep. They shouldn't be up here.
Longer wingspan. So say I have really long arms. Watch what happens in my setup. My hands are going to be down here.
Yeah.
So if they're more down, they must go up. So longer wingspan means more up.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But because you have a slightly longer upper arm than forearm, it kind of cancels each other out.
Okay.
Slightly longer upper arm is going to just mean deeper with the hands back here, naturally.
Gotcha.
But you have slightly longer upper arm or overall wingspan by a half inch, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they zero each other out in a way.
Gotcha.
So because of that, you know, if we see you with too high or too flat, where it's not where we want to be, you're kind of more in a, you know, left arm is maybe just above the shoulder plane or close to on it is basically where we want you to be.
Gotcha.
That's all that means.
Legend has it that Hogan had monkey arms, right? That they're all the way down to his knees. He's all the way back here, right? So that makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Okay.
But he also had super weak grip because he hated the hook.
Right.
And he also kept his right arm a little bit this way versus this way compared to Nicholas. That's because I think he really hated the hook.
Gotcha.
He really wanted to, like he's doing this all day.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he was probably doing this and this. Because that
Gotcha.
was power, you know?
Right.
And then it would never go left for him.
Right.
Obviously,
he wanted to maintain that excessive forearm rotation and release that he had when he had a stronger grip and he was hitting snap hooks.
Yeah, and that's
so he just weakened his grip and kept the motion.
Pretty much.
Gotcha.
But he's talked about his legs too, being the secret as well. But that's just matching it up, sequencing.
Sure.
Which we can improve that with you anyways.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what, this idea, this feeling here is a lot more simplistic than fix it, right? So this whole idea of shallowing the club and releasing it hard to hit a draw it's just got to be gone.
And the shallowing happens, say you're trying to hit it high, you're going to shallow it more because you want to hit it high.
Yeah.
Your body's going to want to shallow it because when you try to hit high, you're not hitting down on it so much.
Right.
You're just coming in with less attack angle.
Right.
When you do that, you actually naturally shallow it this way, not with side bend.
Sure.
You shallow it this way. That's all that is.
Something that a lot of people don't think about too is that just think about the physics of it. You've got a shaft and you got a club here at the end of it. The club wants to go that way. It's not like you have to force it to get it to start working this way. It's gravity, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the softness does.
Right.
If you're soft,
right.
See that?
It's going to go there.
Versus.
Right.
But if you marry the two, softness with release, that'll happen.
Right. Right.
It's really that kind of easy.
Right.
I hate to say easy, but it is pretty easy. Once you get it down, you'll have it kind of click, which is the fun part. Because then you can really add speed from there. You can throw as hard as you want.
Right. And then when we did this test to see where I want to naturally load, we find out that I'm a front poster.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. So we know where my body wants to go to load up.
Yeah, basically you're a guy that should be kind of falling into the left where you're just stacked on top of it, especially with your upper body. Anytime you go this way with the upper body, right, you need this sternum kind of on top of the pelvis. It's almost like a stack and tilt kind of motion in a way with the legs.
Sure.
Versus someone that's right leg dominant, they shift more and then their upper body kind of follows and they tend to push off the right more.
Right.
So they load here and then push off versus a front poster, they're falling into it and then push and turn from there. And then there's people in the middle. There's people that are center, which rotation is big, and they can kind of use all three forces, which is horizontal, vertical, rotation as their friend.
Yeah.
Front poster is vertical as their friend. Right, rear poster is horizontal, pushing off the right foot.
Yeah.
That's their friend.
Gotcha.
So that's what that means. So.
And then the last thing is this guy here. And when I was doing this, my palm is working more towards the ground than it is working this way or that way.
And you'll see the right arm and the elbow follows the hand.
Or right elbow wants to work this way, palm is facing more towards the ground, which leads you to tell me that my right hand needs to be a little bit more on top, and I gotta feel that.
Yeah, because anytime you get this right arm and hand palm up in the swing, that's when you have to compensate.
Right.
This or whatever to square it up. And sometimes on good days you might be able to do it.
Right.
But we can't rely on the good days.
Right. Right.
Palm down throughout your swing. It's almost like throwing a discus. You're kind of just versus someone that's under, that's like you're skimming a stone on a cross water like this. Look at the right side bend difference.
Right.
Right. This is like a DJ or a Patrick Cantley's like this. Xander. Adam Scott is actually like this. You'll see in their takeaways they're like more like this. John Rahm versus Matt Wolf and Ricky and me and you and whoever. Scotty Scheffler, they're more like this.
Yeah.
Freddie Couples was like that, right? We saw a video of him yesterday. He was
right.
So that's pretty
Anything
much it.
else for me?
That's it for today.
Yeah. I tell you what, man, it's some real eye-opening stuff, and like being able to see like how much more confident you are about your ball striking after going to see Terry, right?
Yeah.
And then you explaining this stuff to me and seeing not only how simplistic it is, but how it really makes a whole lot of sense. You want somebody to be able to dynamically move the way that they should move and then work around that instead of
one style or
yeah one size fits all. Here's some stuff, and then what ends up happening, they end up having a whole bunch of moves throughout their motion where they're forced to put on the brakes. They can't let it go.
Yeah, that's what happened to me in college. I had Rocco who was helping me with my swing, and I remember we always worked on keeping the club in front, which was right. I remember my college swing, I was like this, very like low. My hands were so low, and I would go boom, boom. And then I got taught out of that. Yeah. And my college swing, in my opinion, felt the best. And then I remember getting taught out of it, sort of, and then my grip got stronger, trying to have a good perfect takeaway, trying to look a certain way at the top.
Sure.
You know, and I wasn't able to. I would slow down and hit it straight because I was always a straight hitter.
Right.
But it never felt like I was.
Right.
It felt like hard work.
Right.
Versus now it's not as hard. It's just easier. It really is.
And you always had like aesthetically, your move always looked good. It didn't look like, you never looked like me at any point where, I mean, you've played a lot of golf with me. I end up having this saving motion all day, right? Because I'm coming here to here. So you managed to figure out a way to find a rhythm and tempo in synchronization where it still looked really good and you performed at a high level, but now you realize that you weren't able to actually let it go.
Yeah, and there's a lot of shots I couldn't hit. Like maybe I hit it well or something. Like I hid those like weaknesses when I was playing pretty well,
right?
I guess, but I kind of knew I was never like hitting it as good as some other guys that are making it or whatever.
Sure.
Because my short, and then I guess that's how my short game got really good because it had to be.
Yeah.
Because maybe I would hit a few less greens and then maybe in a bad spot, and then I would somehow get those up and down.
Right.
I feel like that's how my short game got good because of that.
So it's almost like
it's almost like a net benefit, and then now my swing's good, and now it's good.
Right.
Now everything's kind of good.
Right.
Which is sweet.
Yeah.
So
I've always been good at hitting 6 greens and shooting 71.
But that's the thing. Think about what we're working on. It's all kind of like you're chipping. You're not open. You're square, or sometimes you're closed.
Correct.
You're all about being on top of it and just kind of releasing it with softness. You can change your speeds, right?
Right.
It's the same thing as your chipping.
It's true.
Versus your swing was like this, or if you made a good swing, that face is so closed.
Right.
And then bye-bye.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, you know, typically after a lot of years, your bad habits are just, this is your normal swing in a way. Or your right hip went this way.
Right.
Right, so.
And it's just saved central all day.
And short.
Yep. And short, yep. Crooked, short, and saving
Which, watch this, I can do this. My body doesn't really do anything, but look how much the club head traveled.
Right.
That's a big arc versus...
Right.
If I'm adding with my body, that club only went from there to there.
Right.
They don't measure on the launch monitors how fast your body turned. It's all about this thing moving fast.
Right.
We just need this to move fast.
Right.
And now that your grip's good, that club face is straight or square. You don't need to fight it.
Right.
And that's why the grip's so important.
Right.
It's actually probably the most important thing. Right? Wouldn't you agree?
Of course, yeah. Particularly based off of this whole conversation that we just had, for sure. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I've always thought of the grip as, it's the last place where you've got contact with the club. It's got to be super important.
Yeah.
But you start thinking about, Hogan ideas, and it's like, okay, try to hit a big snap hook with a weak grip, right? Or let's work the club like DJ. Real strong grip and rotate the hell out of it.
Which is good for maybe a couple people that I teach that I can think of, but everyone else that I would teach, if they don't measure that way, that's the worst thing you can tell them.
Well,
obviously.
see, that's the point though, right? Is that you've got all these great examples of guys with these different mixtures, but that doesn't matter because you're not that person.
Yeah.
Right? So.
And John Rahm's talked about this. He's strong in the right, weak in the left, okay? And he takes it back like this. Imagine telling him to take the club with the toe down. I think he's talked about it. Where he said he tried it. Some coach let him try it, and he said it felt awful. Because I think he knew inside. I call that athletic honesty. We've talked about this. That it wasn't right for him. Which, to me, that's golf IQ right there.
Yeah.
He knew that was not it. Just because he knows what's right for how he can get the ball in the hole. Easiest way possible.
Right.
And the same thing with Scotty. Imagine telling Scotty to strengthen his right hand and just let it suck inside a little bit with the toe up.
Right.
Right. That's not what we want. So.
Yeah.
You wouldn't hear about him.
Right. Or imagine telling somebody like Rico, oh, you got to get over into your right side quicker, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine telling Rico to come off the ball like Sahith and vice versa. Right. It would be awful for either one of them. Right. And Rico, we've seen he's very neutral with his right hand, and Sahith is super on top, just like us.
Yeah.
It's the same thing there. Imagine telling Rico to get his right arm to fly or keep it tucked. Rico's so neutral with his right arm here. That's why he hits it so high and so far. He's naturally there. Versus imagine telling Sahith to keep that right arm tucked.
Right.
He would be here.
Right.
Like he would probably chunk it.
Yeah.
From here every time.
Yeah. Sahith's got that right elbow flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why he has this kind of move is because he's actually trying to swing left from here, which he is naturally going to do. He's making room to go that way. It hits that little cut out there, especially with driver.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The last time that I played with you, well, ever since I've known you, it's that slow first initial bump, right? And then you've got all these nice lines, like a even slower Adam Scott type of look, right? And now you're more there, right?
Yeah, I got to get left early and down. Because then if you go down, you push up, which is vertical forces. For a front poster, that's your friend. Which people don't understand that because it's all kind of new language. But the force plates tell us it's correct. That's why force plates are important. If we had some right now, we would be even more dialed. Right. It doesn't even need to be a force plate. It can be those balance plates that just measure the pressure. Right.
So I just hit 8 irons off of a downslope with a net that's pretty close to me, getting into my natural position as I take it back, which is a front poster, and I'm almost hitting it over the net, right? When I'm hitting a good one.
Yeah.
Right? I've heard people say, oh, if you go stack and tilt kind of look, you're just going to be hitting low bunts all day. But, you got somebody like Aaron Baddeley who, he can hit it plenty high when he wants to, and he's up there
I showed you
all day.
that video. He literally talked about this.
Right.
He's like us. He's a front poster, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of people are like that. I've measured a lot of people, hundreds of people now. I'd say 60 to 65%, 66% are front poster, and they should have a weaker hand on the club. Sometimes 20% they need a strong hand on it. And then there's the occasional that are neutral. So not everyone should be neutral. Neutral is better than strong or weak, depending on if you don't know. That's why teaching a neutral grip is okay. It's good, I think. If anything, teach kids neutral grip, because then they can go either way if they want.
Yeah.
Right, as long as it's right for them. But imagine if you're a kid, typically kids have strong grips this way with their left.
Yeah.
And then you see them like this. But then their swings like this. That face is so shut. Well, that's a lot of shuts. You're going to want to open it by compensating. And then all this stuff is adding up. You want to add openers and closers from your matchups to make it go straight. If you have too many openers, you got to do something to compensate to close the face and vice versa.
Right.
If you think about your swing that way, you have to know what's opening and closing the face, though. That's what's maybe a little bit difficult. But if you know, then you just work on it. That's called sequencing.
Cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Thank you, Terry.
Terry, you're the man.
Thank you, Terry. Saving the day.